Ooh, that Diet Dr. Pepper pack be hittin'. You know, I noticed something strange at work the other day. There's a coworker who sits behind me and they're taking classes while working. You know, I actually am here for it. That's a good thing that you should be doing at work if you can do it. Totally normal. But the way they're doing the assignments, that kind of blew my mind. Every single question in the homework gets copied, pasted into ChatGPT, and then they just scroll Insta Reels while the answer loads. Once the response pops up, they copy the answer into the LMS and then move on to the next question. Like, dude, no reading, no thinking, no brain activity at all. Just copy, paste, submit. And that shit made me realize something. For some people, AI isn't really just a tool. It's becoming their brain. Kind of like that brain from A Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but how the brain was in the bear. So to be fair, this isn't completely new. People have always tried to shortcut school. Even whenever I was in college, plagiarism existed, of course. You'd Google something, maybe paraphrase it, maybe copy a Wikipedia paragraph and hope the professor didn't notice. You know, funny thing, I was actually a good kid in college. I didn't really cheat that much, but the one fucking time I got caught, it was because of a void. An older girl, she was taking advantage of me, and she used to sit next to me every single time, and I can't lie, she was pretty hot, and she used to ask me to, you know, basically copy the answers and stuff like that. And one day I got a 0 on one of my assignments, and I went up to the TA and I was just like, hey, why'd I get a 0? I noticed I got a 0 for this. And they were just like, dude, we saw the imprint of somebody else writing on your paper, like you clearly cheated. You know what? I couldn't even fight that shit. Moral of the story, don't let these voids be your downfall, bro. You know what? In a weird way, I was kind of like her ChatGPT. Chud GPT. Cuckthropic, if you will. Ma'am, you don't have to give me tokens, but can you please give me a crumb of pussy? Nah, honestly, I'm just being self-deprecating. You already know me. Whenever I was in uni, I was slaying all the femoids. Booyah! Anyways, back on track. What I'm saying now feels different because the entire thinking step disappears. The AI just generates the answer instantly, and the student becomes more like the delivery system. You know, whenever I started thinking about this, I came up with an analogy in my head. Close your eyes and picture a horse and a jockey. Normally the human is the jockey. You know, they're on the back. It's usually somebody who's like a $110, soaking wet, but he's controlling the horse. You know, the human is steering. The human is making the decisions. The horse is just providing the power. It's just the vehicle to go somewhere. But with some AI usage, the roles are starting to flip. AI is the jockey and the humans are becoming the horse, just carrying the answer from chat to the assignment submission page. There's something really backwards about that, and I think it's going to start making people's brains atrophy in a way that Google couldn't quite do, or like any of the other inventions. You know what? I think it's because AI is so good that whenever you rely on it, it can consume more of your brain power, so you can rely on it more. It's way further than the other shit we've had in the past, dude. I'm still figuring out my thoughts about it, but it's definitely not positive. Well, it's not positive for some people, but it is for others, because I think this is where the real divide is going to happen. There are basically two ways people use AI. The first way is what I saw behind me. AI does the thinking and the human just executes the instructions. But the second way is very different. AI becomes a tool to amplify your thinking. So you still ask questions, you still challenge the answer, you still try to understand the idea. I know, like, fuck me, right? You gotta actually learn it. AI just helps you move a little bit faster. Okay, let's be honest, a lot bit faster. But still, there's been a lot of talk online lately about escaping the so-called permanent underclass in this AI era. Most of that conversation is pretty dramatic, but there's some small truth hidden in it. The real difference won't be who uses AI. Everyone will use AI. Everyone who has an internet connection in the West, at least. The difference will be how they use it. Some people will let AI become the jockey, and others will keep themselves in the driver's seat. AI is probably the most powerful intellectual tool humans have ever built so far. But like any powerful tool, it can either make you sharper or it can slowly make you lazy. And right now, we're watching millions of people decide which direction they're going to go, whether they realize it or not. So yeah,